A frigate will load about 1 million liters in one go. And we need depots, we need magazines.
At wala po yan doon sa dating Hanjin facilities. Wala na.
Wala po.
And I saw it kasi talagang wala. Parang warehouse lang siya.
Yes, sir.
Sabi ko nga, Madam Chair, when I saw that facility that the Navy is renting out from the American company na 1 billion a year, na wala siyang masyadong support mechanism, no, to support our new acquisition. So hopefully mag-transfer sila sa Subic Bay, and I think Subic Bay SBMA has welcomed yung Navy para yung 1 billion na binabayad sa Subic na lang natin ibayad, no? And I think tama ko kayo, nandun na po yung mga it was really designed as a naval base, so it can be used, no? Yung depot, bunkers are there. So hopefully it can be may sasama na rin po natin yan.
That's correct, Your Honor. We programmed for the development of the Basam Pier. It's a multi-year program, and we're working on it with the Chief Executive on the development of that area. For refueling, if you don't have a depot, kung gas truck lang, Your Honor, mga 5 araw silang nagagas up bago mapuno yung barko. Ganun karami yung kailangan fuel namin.
And also now, I think we need to do that as soon as possible para po yung maintenance, yung support services to our new assets, and meron pang mga darating, no? Kasi nakita ko talaga yung Hanjin, walang kulang na kulang, warehouse lang yun Paparada na, pero talagang walang support. As you said, wala naman depot pa ron, no fuel.
Yes, sir. The Hanjin, sir, is designed as a shipyard for aircraft carriers.
Yes,
It's
not really for
not a naval base.
Not a naval base.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for that. Anything that would be able to, that we will be able to improve tong aming bill on AFP modernization, let us know, so that yun po, Madam Chair, no, so that in the long term that we can really play catch up. Masyado na tayong nahuli. Every year nakakaawa po ang modernization budget. Ito po yung laging kinakaltasan, binabawasan sa Kongreso. Buti na lang dyan ang Senado na nagre-restore, and we even augment. Pero 10 billion lang. But now, with the 40 billion and 50 billion program and program, hopefully it can be retained in the coming years so that we can already have that minimum credible defense posture that we are all envisioning to have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We end our hearing and convert it into a TWG. And I just wanted to include the Veterans Month Declaration, which declares the month of April as Philippine Veterans Month every year. So everything that is written here would be deemed included into the record, including the constitutional basis affirms a state's duty to care for veterans and their families under the 1987 Constitution, and for historical preservation, the promotion of documentation and teaching veteran stories in schools. And this will include the access to benefits, medical and mental health support, and multi-agency coordination and everything else. So there are 3 bills that will be converted into TWG, right? The Transformation Act, the AFP Revised Modernization Program, which is really just the 15 years and the and allowing them the capacity to borrow, right, for foreign financing and domestic, and the Declaration of April as the for the Veterans Month. Did I get it correctly? And those who are not able to say their piece today, although I should have given everyone a chance, please submit it. It will be inserted into the record. And those who are not present here today but were asked to give, that's COA and is it DFA who was in the other room, and Civil Service. Yes, please COMSEC make them insert into the record the statement supposedly for today and to join the technical working group. And the 3 can be sponsored before we adjourn in March. In fact, by next week. Philippine Veterans Month, declaration lang yun. Kayang-kaya ko yun. Yung modernization naman, andali yan. It's just the 15 years at saka allowing foreign and domestic financing unless there's a OSG issue about it, unless a BSP is against it. If it's legally allowed and then there's no constitutional problem with it, then we can do the revised the modernization program. And then the Transformation Act also, yun medyo ayusin natin ilan ba talaga ang kaya ng gobyerno, because I don't want to pass an unfunded law. What if I pass it and then they will only fund the 6 USECs, etc. So, but I'd like to pass that. So, do I have the commitment of the team to sponsor the 3 before we adjourn middle of March? Kaya. Kaya. Siyempre palaging kaya. Okay? Yes? What's the status, just for the record, in the House of Rep for the 3 bills? O kung di nyo alam, sige. Dapat palagi alam yan, ha? That's standard. Yes. Sige. Comsec. Thank you.
Ma'am, for the D&D transformation, we have already referred the matter for TWG last February 5, 2025. For the Veterans Month, ma'am, they have already passed the same for the 3rd reading.
Okay.
And for the AFP modernization, Your Honor, they have not yet updated us to the
O sige,
status.
please call the COMSEC and find out sino ba ang chair counterpart ko doon. Make sure they conduct the hearing kasi yung modernization, simple lang yan, yung 15 years lang yun. Oo. Tapos yung transformation, kaya nyo yan. Makaisa o 2 TWG lang yan. So sa sponsor ko lahat yan. So next week, sa sponsor ko na yung veterans. Kaya na rin yung week after next, I can sponsor the modernization and the transformation. Okay? O ito thesis ko. Sige, meron take home lahat. Take home lahat. Okay? Lahat bigyan. Lahat ng interesado. Ganito na lang. Lahat ng interesado. Kasi sabi ko, bigyan lahat ito. Meron kayong lahat. Sige, yung mga nasa likod nila, baka gusto rin magbasa. Sige, wag niyong gagawin toilet paper, ha? Hindi, biro lang. Wag scratch paper, ha? Pinaghirapan ko yan. O, sige, nag-GSC ako eh. I graduated 2017, di ba? Nag-GSC ako. Tapos, NDCP, gawin ko nga ang libro yung aking term paper noon. Best Thesis Award ako ng 1993. At saka top notcher. Akin na, uy, takbo. Takbo. Sa ano? Yung aking card. Pakita ko. Yabang ko. Nandun sa aksak mo. Pababa mo. Nasa cabinet ko. Alam ni Sherry. O, tika, bago. Gusto ko on record yung aking grades. Sige. Ito. Pero ito, thesis ko to sa General Staff College. Best Thesis Award. Pahingi naman ng kopya na Best Thesis Award siya. Meron yata akong plaque. Oo. Yun lang, parang letter lang na kung totoo bang best thesis ako, baka hindi naman eh. Pinagyayabang ko eh. Oo, ginawa ko lang libro. Diba? Yun naman. So lahat ng mga thesis nyo sa mga pinag-aralan natin, di magandang gawin libro. Tapos siguro, i-upload ko ito. O kasi hindi naman lahat may hard copy eh. I-upload. Oo. Diba? This is building resilience in the humanitarian space. Sige. Okay. Huwag na hintayin yung grado. So, any more statements? Yes. Kung mapasa yung 3 ngayong taon, ma-sponsor ko bago mag-Marso na break, ma-defend ko pagbalik ng Mayo, we enacted into law. Malaking bagay ba yan sa D&D, AFP? Bakit hindi napasa nun? 4 na taon na tayo eh. Wasn't this a priority before? Or you only submitted it? Bagong submit lang yun sa akin
Ma'am, we already provided copies of the bill towards the end of the 19th Congress. However, I don't think it was filed.
End of the 19th Congress.
Yes, sir.
Sa akin ngayon lang, I only took over a few months ago and this was only submitted to us, right? So just to be sure, it is an agency submitted bill, right? Hindi naman ako nag-isip nito. Although syempre, we will refine it and see. But it's a priority measure of the D&D. The AFP sang-ayon dito? Siguro naman. Ha? Oh, of course. Yes, yes. They will follow. Ayan pala, nga pala. Yes, General.
Yes, ma'am. The position of on behalf of the Chief of Staff, thank you very much for this
Yes.
endeavor. We have submitted the positions of the armed forces to the Defense Department, ma'am, and we are aligned with the provisions.
Na kontra. Except sa DBM, ayaw lang nila, o kayo na mag-negotiate. Dalawa na lang. Dalawang plantilla lang pinag-aawayan nyo. O tatlo. Kasi PIVAW. Tatlo. O kayo mag-usap sa TWG. Tignan natin. Ano yan? Magyayabang pa ba ako dito? Hindi na kailangan. JV, tanda ko na, oh. 1992. Oh my God, where were you?
I just graduated from college.
Okay, 1992. Okay. Yeah. At that time, may political dimension na.
Oh.
Ano bang grade yung nababasa mo, James? One. Okay, lagay mo sa mic. Oh, lagay mo sa mikropono. Political dimension.
1.0750.
Okay. Malakpak. Yan ang nakukuha nyo pag ang chair ninyo. Okay, next. Economic dimension of national security. Ano bang grado to, James?
Hindi ko makita. 1.122. Zero.
Okay, next. Socio-cultural dimension of national security. Anong grado ba tayo, James?
1.1000.
Thank you, James.
Daan.
O next, military dimension of national security.
1.4025.
Okay. Aha. Leadership and management. Sorry, magtsaga kayo.
1.3740.
Remember, I was 32 years old, kaedad ko noon ng anak ko si Leandro. Okay. I was heavy with child. 9 months, my son was in my tummy. Yeah. National security, national strategy and policy, that's what we're doing now. Anong grado ko noon, tinan mo? Kaya pala, national strategy and policy. At that time, wala pa akong idea magiging senador ako. Ano?
Almost flat 1.0037.
Kaya pala ako naging policy maker. So, bakit ko sinasabi to? Hinubog ako ng National Defense College of the Philippines at in-enhance ako ng General Staff College. Yan ang mahalaga. Kaya dapat damihan natin ang budget nila. Sige. Gas meron seminar on selected national security issues and problems. Anong grado natin, James?
1.18454.
Seminar on national strategy and policy formulation.
1.1904.
16.
16 pala.
Research methodology. Thesis.
1.0322.
Okay. Thesis.
Wow. 1.00. Flat 1.
Ayun. Kaya
Okay, nanalo na.
pinag-amalaki po ng inyong chair na ako ay nag-aral sa inyong institusyon at naging top-notcher noong 1992 class. Yes. Hindi para magyabang, oo na rin, pagbigyan na nyo ang mga tumatanda. Pagbigyan na nyo pag tumatanda, syempre proud sa mga nakaraan. Para magbigay ng inspirasyon sa mga estudyante ng National Defense, ng GSC at lahat ng mga institusyon para makita na ang buhay pala, hindi mo akalain. Malay ko, estudyante ako dito, nasa broadcast ako noon and I was heavy with child. Malay ko na 1992, 93, in 5 years, malay ko magiging senador ako. Malay ko naman magiging seatmate ko si Senator JV. At malay ko naman ako'y gagawa ng 3 batas at mag-chair ng defense. So in all these years, mula 1998, ngayon lang ako nag-chairman ng Defense Committee. So I'm enjoying learning from all of you. At kung may pagkukulang po, I'd like to be told always that I'm wrong or it's kulang or inaccurate and I'd like to learn. Yeah, that's why all of us should be bukas ang isipan, matututo sa isa't isa. We correct each other. Kaya pasensya na when I correct you pag hindi nagkakaintindihan. Keep a curious mind, be inquisitive, and learn to admit your mistakes and to correct ourselves when we're wrong. But always think 10 steps ahead and look on your side, on your back, everywhere, and be aware of everything that's happening and think 10 steps ahead. And there's no substitute for complete staff work, right? Yeah. And I'd like to say it was former President Fidel Ramos who mentored me. Yes. So, FER. Okay. Thank you for that. Si Secretary Chodoro said that he will have a meeting with me after his trip today. He apologized, of course, in his text last night and this morning. He could not make it. But I'd like to hear from Sec Ibo also. What are the other bills that are important to him? Although you already told me that there's 3. Kung meron pa bang iba, would anyone be able to say what are the bills we need to prioritize? Yusek? No?
That's all for the moment.
Ito?
Yeah.
That's for the moment. This is it.
Yes.
At dapat, can you help me with this? We pass it before the adjournment in June?
Of course, Madam Chair. As always, I'm proud to say that in the Senate, we have always been supportive of the AFP.
Yes.
Sabi ko nga kanina, sorry na lang, pasintabi, binabawasan sa kabilang house yung, it's always us who restores and even augments. So, anything for the AFP modernization, we have always, and you have been always supportive as well, Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you so much, Senator JV, our primary principal advocate in the Senate. And soon you can also be chair, of course, of the committee, and he has defended your budget as well many times. Thank you so much to everyone for this. Yes. Okay. We suspend for technical working group. Thank you.
衝出去唔係跑道嘅位置啦，因為平時睇唔到嘛。
係啊，喺自由世界入邊啊。
好自由嘅。
係啊。
影張相。
嗱，呢個位，跟住調轉佢先，
調返轉
改變佢嘅表情，跟住我哋幫佢改個邊框先。哇！
哦，好靚喎！啊，呢個好襯喎，靚喎！誒呢邊靚啲，呢邊。
啊，咁樣好唔好？好，拍攝。
哇！
Nintendo Switch 2馬里奧賽車世界。
Vice President Sara Duterte's announcement to run for president in 2028 sent shockwaves across the political spectrum. Good morning, I'm attorney Karen Jimeno, and this is At the Forefront. Vice President Sara Duterte announced that she is running for president in 2028. Some say this was expected. Others suspect this is a part of a strategy to address issues like the impeachment. Meanwhile, the opposition has yet to produce a viable candidate who can face off with VP Sara 2 years from now. To help us analyze these developments, we'll be speaking with political strategist Lito Banayo. Good morning, Lito.
Good morning, Attorney Karen, and thank you very much for inviting me. Always a pleasure to be in your program.
And it's always a pleasure to have you here. So, itong announcement ni VP Sara, may mga nagulat, meron naman sinabi na inaabangan talaga nila nito. So, when VP Sara declared her presidential bid, last week, international political strategist Aaron Shaviv here at the Forefront said that if you're serious about running for president or vice president in 2028, if you haven't started yet, right now, then you're already too late. But VP Sara's early announcement is counter to the strategy of her father, si former President Rodrigo Duterte, who delayed his official announcement up until the last minute noong 2016. So nagpa-substitute pa siya, di ba? Like, last minute, nag-substitute pa siya. So talagang naiwan lahat ng tao in suspense. So, what do you think? This early announcement, is it too early or tamang-tama lang? What is your take on this?
Well, it
Lito.
was a different political environment when Duterte ran for president, or when Mayor Duterte ran for president. Everyone was thinking about the incumbent vice president, Jojo Binay, Mar Rojas, who was expected to be the favorite of President Benigno Aquino, no? the third. And at that time, wala pa din si Grace po in the picture. No? So, the way I look at it, si Mayor Duterte, and I was in that team, was really reluctant. He wanted to find out first if his numbers would go up. And in fact, he gave us a magic number. Dapat makahit siya ng number 18%.
Ang liit din nun, 18%. Yeah.
Kasi maraming mga kandidato.
Okay,
di ba?
so it
4
should be
candidates.
okay, yeah.
18% to make a decision on whether to run or not. Kaya before that, ikot lang siya ng ikot, getting his message across. No? But in the case of Vice President Sara, you must remember, she's already number 2. No? And all number 2s want to be number 1. Whether
mean
it was
all vice
Doy Laurel,
presidents,
whether
yeah.
it was Doy Laurel, whether it was Era Estrada, Jojo Binay, lahat yan, di ba? So, in the case of Estrada, and this is probably the closest parallel to Inday Saras, he was towering over all other possible opponents.
Meaning, yung mga surveys early on.
The early surveys talaga mataas na siya.
Oo.
So, whether or not whatever was his, yung timing ng announcement, formal announcement, was no longer, it was assumed that he would go for the presidency already. Ganon din itong kay Vice President. The only difference is she is facing major obstacles. Impeachment and all those.
So, meron bang pros and cons na maagang nag-announce si Vice President Sara?
Let me speculate based on my experience. Number one, she decided to run for vice president with PBM without the blessings of her father. At that point in time, hindi sila nag-uusap masyado. Estranged yung relationship nila. This time, because her father is in jail, the relationship became very close. No, siyempre, nagre-repair. I think, considering that she was in The Hague 2 weeks before, the decision to throw her hat formally in the ring was made in The Hague.
Wow. You used to be part of former President Duterte's camp nung tatakbo siya for president, and you were part of that successful team that got him the presidency. Are you now Vice President Sara's advisor for his 2028 bid?
No, full disclosure, I am not close to Vice President Sara. The last time I talked to her, I was still in MECO, as chairman of MECO. And that was 2017. I haven't talked to her since. So, wala akong professional engagement at this point. But, some people around her get to be able to talk to me. Sometimes they seek my advice. So, yun lang.
And since merong hinaharap na obstacles na si Vice President Sara, right after her announcement yesterday, meron pang 4th impeachment complaint na na-file against her. Kanina umaga may congressman na nagsabi na ang palagay niya, this is posturing so that magkakaalaman na kung sino ang kakampi ni Vice President Sara sa Congress when it comes to tackling the impeachment. And he also admitted na sa ngayon, wala pa raw silang enough votes to muster the 1/3 that's required to endorse the impeachment complaints to the plenary. How do you think the announcement of Vice President Sara will affect how the voting will go in Congress when it comes to the pending impeachment complaints?
I'm sure that was a major consideration on the part of the Vice President's camp to make the announcement now before the impeachment rolls on. No? Look at it this way first, baliktarin natin. We go to the Senate. The Senate will be the judge or the jury. The question in most politicians' mind, especially if you're in Congress, is, mako-convict ba? Will she be convicted in the Senate? My personal count, 16 votes will acquit her and only 8 votes will. May iba doon mag-a-abstain pa. Ang nakakasiguro ka lang na boboto against her are Risa, Kiko, possibly Tito Soto, and possibly Ping Lacson.
Yun pa lang ang sure.
Yun lang ang sure. Maaring si yung dalawang Tulfo pwedeng sumama doon or pwedeng mag-abstain depending on their political trajectory in 2028 and beyond. Mananansya pa yan. All the rest will vote for acquittal. No? Whether it is because they're very close to Vice President Sara like Aimee, Marcoleta, Robin Hood, etc. Or because their political future depends on a solid 34% Mindanao plus Central Visayas vote. Kung tatakbo kang re-election at hindi ka nanalo sa 34%, talo ka.
But what about potential changes in the landscape of the Senate? So, merong mga possibilities of arrest that have been mentioned. For instance, with senators that have been implicated in the flood control scandal, like Senators Joel Villanueva, Jingo Estrada, former Senate President Chis Escudero, and then the possibilities of ICC arrests against those that are alleged co-perpetrators, like Senators Bato de la Rosa and Senator Bongo. Palagay mo, will that change the...
You still need 16 votes. Eh?
Yeah, it's in the Constitution.
So even if they do not vote or they're unable to vote, that will still count in favor of Inday Sara.
So it doesn't matter how
Doesn't
that will
matter.
play out. Should VP Sara consider resigning kung sakaling magbago yung ihip ng hangin at biglang makikita niya na yung danger of being convicted is there? Should she consider resigning before there's a judgment in the impeachment? But before you answer this question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront. We continue our conversation with political strategist Lito Banayo. Lito, should circumstances change before the trial's decision, kung magkaroon man ng impeachment trial, kunwari merong impending conviction, should Vice President Sara resign or consider resigning?
I don't think it's in her character. I don't think it's in the character of all the Dutertes for that matter. Pag laban-laban, tuloy-tuloy yan. I don't think so.
Will that be the case pa rin, kahit na very impractical yung decision? Because the other consequence of that would be perpetual disqualification from holding public office. So hindi siya makakatakbo sa 2028.
Well, we'll have to wait for that moment, no? But the way I look at it, nabato na lahat sa kanya. I mean, in the case of Jojo Binay, Vice President Jojo Binay, the demolition started middle of 2014.
So ganun din, parang 2 years before
he ran for president, before the elections. In the case of Inday Sara, the demolition started 2024 or even earlier pa siguro. Yung talagang formal demolition tactics started in the Quadcom, di ba? In the hearings in the House of Representatives now. So, and then circumstances changed, like the father was brought to The Hague, that brought out an emotional wellspring against the administration. So, hindi natuloy yung impeachment. For all intents and purposes, the Senate, at that time, the 19th Congress, decided, upon seeing the results of the vote in the midterm elections, na why should we even bother about this impeachment trial? Kaya hindi nangyari. And then, nag-concur pa ang Supreme Court, no? With its decision, no? So lumampas na siya ron eh. That catharsis is over. Ngayon, you will have to come up, whether real or invented, as in the case of Madriaga siguro, no, with new evidence to pin her down. I'm sure she's very prepared for all of that.
Okay.
So the idea that she might face conviction in the Senate, to me, is so far-fetched.
So your possibility of resigning for you also is far-fetched.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to now the running mate, yun ang syempre iisipin na naman ng mga tao, sino naman ang magiging running mate ni Vice President Sara? Si Senator Amy Marcos was interviewed yesterday and she said, sunod-sunuran lang naman ako. But si Senator Robin Padilla said she would endorse a Sara Amy tandem para daw girl power. Would that be a winnable tandem?
Well, it defies conventional wisdom. No? Normally, pag babae ang kandidatong presidente, lalaki, or vice versa. No? Yun yung natanggap na natin. Remember, in the time of Cory, a lot of people were saying hindi pwedeng babaeng maging presidente, but she became president. And after her, the next strongest presidential candidate was Miriam Defensor Santiago. So nagbabago, especially with the thinking of the Gen Z and the millennials. Nagbabago yan. That's yung babae-babae is no longer far-fetched. However, the way I look at it, mas gipit or mas masikip ang labanan sa vice presidency. Madaming tatakbong independent vice president.
Like who?
Look at the senators who are graduating. Win Gatchalian, Chis Escudero, Mig Subiri, Loren Legarda. Maybe hindi na si Loren, no? She has her, likely she will run for Congress again, no? But marami yan, madaming thinking na manipis ang labanan, mas madali ang labanan sa Vice President. So pwedeng mas madami. Remember, in 2016, tumakbo si Alan Cayetano, the official candidate of Duterte, teammate of Duterte, pero tumakbo din si Bongbong Marcos. Tumakbo din si Trillanes. All three of them are from one party, the Nationalista Party. No? So these things will happen again now. But not in the presidency. In the presidency, I would think, malabo yung yung one-on-one na sinasabi ni John Vic Rimulya. Mas malamang tatlo ang serious candidates for the presidency.
Interesting. So, since bringing up mo na yung third force, I watched the interview of Corina Sanchez with SILG Interior Secretary John Vic Rimulya last night. And sabi niya, in his opinion, it would be a battle, walang third force, it will be a battle between clean versus corrupt at saka good versus evil. Pero kung clean, I mean, palagay mo ba the administration can have a credible, clean platform considering nagkaroon nitong malaking flood control scandal?
I listened to that and